Now, this can sound strange, but if you spent 30 or 40 years saving diligently for retirement, you may actually be at greater risk of underspending than overspending. That probably sounds backwards, but for retirement advice often focuses on a big fear, and that's running out of money. So the message that people often hear for decades is pretty simple. Let's save more, spend less, be careful, prepare for the unexpected. And during your working years, that mindset certainly serves you very well. Helps you build wealth, avoid major financial mistakes, helps you stay disciplined when everyone else is taking shortcuts. But once retirement begins, that same mindset that helped you build wealth can make it very hard for you to use your wealth. And that's where I see a lot of good savers get stuck in retirement. They arrive at retirement financially prepared, but feel emotionally they're still operating as if every dollar spent is a threat to their future. So even when the plan can support more flexibility, they keep holding back, the trip gets delayed, family experiences get postponed, your home projects sit on the list for years. The idea of helping children or grandchildren becomes something that they never really think about or ever actually want to do. And in many cases, the portfolio is not the problem. It's the confidence in the plan. We found that when there's no documented retirement income plan showing what can be spent, you simply don't know where the income will come from, how your taxes fit in overall, and how the plan holds up over time. So in this video, I want to walk you through 5 retirement spending lies that can cause good savers to underspend. And hopefully by the end, you'll see why a retirement income plan gives you something a portfolio balance simply does not. It gives you permission to use the money that you work so hard to build. Hi, I'm Chris Knight with Cornerstone Wealth Planning. We help people approach retirement, connecting the dots around Social Security, tax planning, your investment strategy, healthcare estate, and retirement income, all in one coordinated, integrated plan. If this will be of any benefit to you, there's a link in the description below where you can schedule a free call with our team to build your plan. All right, the 5 lies. Let's start. Lie number 1, you should spend as little as possible. This is one of the hardest beliefs for good savers to shake in retirement. After decades of being careful with their money, spending less than they feel like they were a responsible thing to do, it feels safe, it feels prudent, and just like behavior that helped you get to retirement in the first place. Now, to be fair, this discipline probably served you extremely well and got you to where you are today, because the ability to delay gratification, avoid waste, think carefully about these financial decisions is often why someone reaches retirement in such a strong position. But retirement creates a new challenge. At some point, the skill of saving has to be paired with the skill of spending intentionally. And that transition isn't always easy. If you spent 40 years watching your account balances grow, it can feel deeply uncomfortable to now watch those potentially go down if you start making withdrawals, even if those withdrawals are completely reasonable amounts to take out of the portfolio. So instead of actually using the money, many retirees actually keep protecting it. And they do that by pushing back the trips, delaying the family vacations, going another year without that much needed renovation in the house. It usually sounds logical and responsible in our heads, right? We'll say we'll do it later. We don't need it right now. Let's wait and see. I just want to be careful. But look, there's nothing wrong with being careful, but later doesn't always arrive the way people expect. We've all found that health can change on a dime. Our energy levels can dip significantly. Family circumstances can obviously change. The ability to actually enjoy certain experiences will narrow over time. So that's why we spend as little as possible, and this phrase can quietly become a dangerous retirement rule. Now, a strong retirement plan should help you identify where spending actually improves your life and also where it doesn't. So in our process, our retirement planning blueprint that we put together, often we talk about how excess wealth and where it ultimately goes is so important. And some of that may be used for life experiences, for family support, or maybe your charitable giving goals. Now, while some of it may simply accumulate by default, this often happens more than people realize. And so nobody really sits down usually and says, I just want to miss out on these experiences so my account balances can be larger and larger and grow. But often by default, if we don't do anything differently, then oftentimes that is how things will go. That's often what happens when there's just no spending plan or no retirement income plan in place. A cautious decision gets made one year, and then snowballs into more of the same decision in the subsequent years. And eventually, yeah, the portfolio may be larger, but the experiences that money was meant to support simply never happen. Now, what's a balanced or maybe a healthier approach is to have purposeful spending, using the money where the plan supports it, directing it towards the parts of life that you value, and staying disciplined in the areas that don't add much value to you overall. That gives retirement spending more structure than simply trying to preserve every possible dollar. Now, lie number two, the market crash is always around the corner. Good savers have usually lived through enough market volatility to know that downturns are real. They've seen the dot-com crash, the financial crisis, COVID, inflation spikes last few years, and interest rate changes, living through bear markets and plenty of scary headlines along the way. So it's natural to carry some caution into retirement. Markets will not and do not move in a straight line. Bad years do happen. Account balances can fall quickly. When retirement begins, it feels tempting to keep every spending decision on hold until things feel safe. They wait for a calmer market, a better economy, a stronger portfolio balance, or a more reassuring headline. But retirement doesn't pause while you wait for perfect conditions. For many retirees, this first 5 to 10 years can be the most active years because travel is easier, your energy is definitely higher, and your health is likely better. Market risk absolutely needs to be planned for, but it shouldn't be the thing that controls your entire lifestyle. And that's where a real income strategy and portfolio structure can change everything. A good retirement plan doesn't rely on selling stocks every time cash is needed. Instead, it should account for cash reserves, short-term income needs, and guaranteed income sources that you may have, taxable accounts, retirement accounts, Roth accounts, and a withdrawal strategy that's designed to handle volatility. When you have the next few years of income already mapped out or those portfolio withdrawals set aside, a market decline becomes far less emotionally disruptive. You still pay attention to the markets, obviously. You still respect the risk that's in the portfolio, but a bad week doesn't automatically cancel the vacation, postpone the family trip, or freeze every spending decision that you plan to make. And this is one reason that we build retirement plans around understanding the connectedness of the income, the taxes, the liquidity needs, and your withdrawal strategy all together. So the market becomes one input into the plan, not the actual dial that controls everything in your life. So if you'd like help building this kind of plan for your own retirement, all you have to do is click the link in the description to schedule a free call with our team. Okay, now let's talk about lie number 3, that spending more now means running out later. All right, this belief sounds logical at times. If more gets spent today, less remains for tomorrow, and in a narrow sense, that could be true. But retirement spending doesn't move in a straight line. Most retirees don't spend the exact same amount every year for 30 years. These early years often look very different than the later years. This stage early on may include more travel, more hobbies, more home projects, more family trips, more life experiences, and these could require more health, more energy, and more mobility. Now, later on, spending often shifts. Travel may slow down, large discretionary purchases could become less frequent, and obviously for a lot of folks, healthcare becomes a larger part of the picture now. Housing needs change, family needs change, and when every extra dollar spent today is treated like a threat to the future, the plan becomes too rigid for life it's supposed to support. So well-built retirement income plans should already account for the future. It should evaluate income sources, withdrawal rates, taxes, healthcare, inflation, market volatility, and long-term spending needs all together. And then one of the key numbers in this planning process to understand on the front end is your income gap. And that's the difference between income coming in that's guaranteed to continue and expenses going out. And really, once that gap is cleared, understood, then you should compare it against your liquid assets, what you can draw from in retirement, and that will give you your withdrawal rate. And now understanding this creates a much clearer spending conversation. So if guaranteed income covers a large part of your overall expenses, then the portfolio may not need to carry as much weight as you would expect. If that withdrawal rate is more modest, let's say 3, 4, 5%, then additional spending in the early years could be completely reasonable. But if the plan still shows large excess assets later in life, there may be room to enjoy more now without putting the future at risk. When you don't know the numbers, though, unfortunately, it feels like guessing. And when you guess in retirement, then spending becomes a much more challenging decision. And it's one that can be made calmly and clearly if you understand the trade-offs. All right, let's go to lie number 4. I need to preserve everything for my children. Now, this one can be very emotional. A lot of parents, and understandably so, may want to leave something behind, and when that's understandable. For many people, providing for children or grandchildren is part of what made saving feel worthwhile in the first place. But legacy planning must be intentional, not just a default setting that never gets examined. Some retirees spend years refusing to use money on themselves because they want to leave so much behind to their family. For some people, that's exactly what they want. For others, it's an assumption that they've just carried for decades without ever really questioning it. That's a real cost to that, to themselves, because when every single dollar is protected for future inheritance, there are certain things that you're giving up during your lifetime. So this could be things even that benefit your family now. Family trips, shared memories, helping your children or grandchildren today, which can make a real difference for them right now, or giving to worthy causes that are important to you where you'd like to see impact. Now, most adult children would gladly trade a slightly larger inheritance for more time, more shared experiences, more memories while their parents were healthy enough to enjoy them. Doesn't mean that inheritance planning should be ignored. It just means that life experiences and family legacy should be weighed together. The right answer for you depends ultimately on your values, your overall long-term financial plan, and the people that you care about most. This brings us to lie number 5. Thinking that my account balance determines what I could spend. Now, this can sound a little counterintuitive, but this could also be the most common spending trap. A lot of retirees look at their account balance and use that number only to decide how secure they feel. The portfolio's up, spending feels easy. Portfolio's down, spending feels dangerous. After withdrawal, even a planned one, the lower balance can feel like they're doing something wrong. But retirement is funded by income, not account balances. And this income may come from Social Security, pensions, portfolio withdrawals, interest, dividends, withdrawals from Roth accounts, taxable brokerage accounts. You may have annuities, real income, or some combination of all these. The account balance is, though, just one piece of the total picture. What actually shapes your overall long-term sustainability is your portfolio balance and using that as sustainable cash flow to meet your income needs. So someone with a smaller portfolio with a clear income strategy and maybe larger guaranteed income sources, they can have a real confidence in their long-term plan. And that's why having clarity around your retirement finances is so powerful. Because once these pieces are laid out, then spending feels less dangerous. Instead of reacting to a portfolio balance going up or down, this income plan helps you understand where the money is coming from, how expenses are being covered, which accounts make sense to use, and how taxes fit in and what backup options exist if something like the markets were to go down. So instead of just reacting to portfolio balances, this allows you to have more comfort, more confidence, and more clarity. And this is the shift that many good savers need. You don't need another lecture about discipline because you've already been disciplined for decades to get here. All you need now is a process that turns all these accounts, your income sources, your tax decisions, your healthcare costs, your legacy goals into one ongoing spending strategy. And this is a documented retirement income plan that gives you structure for your money. It shows you how these different pieces work together. It helps answer one of the hardest emotional questions in retirement, which is, can I actually spend this? And for many people, the answer is usually yes, if they spent decades saving along the way. But often it doesn't feel real until they see the plan. There has to be a clear connection between the money they've saved and the life that money is supposed to support. So let's just real simply recap these 5 spending lies that often trap good savers in retirement. Lie number 1, you should spend as little as possible. Lie number 2, the market crash is always around the corner. Lie number 3, spending more now means running out of money later. Number 4, you need to preserve everything for your children or grandchildren. Number 5, your account balance is what determines how much you can spend. Now, each of these beliefs contains some truth, right? Discipline helps, market risk is real, the future should have some stability and protection to it, legacy planning deserves your attention, your account balances need to be organized and monitored appropriately. But none of these beliefs should drive your entire retirement system on its own. The real work here is connecting everything into a documented income plan that looks at your long-term income, your expenses, your taxes, your investments, healthcare, legacy goals, and that would draw strategy all together in one cohesive integrated plan. And after decades of saving, sacrificing, preparing, then retirement shouldn't be spent wondering whether you're allowed to enjoy your money in retirement. It should be spent understanding how to use your money wisely and how to use it the way that is meaningful to you. So if you'd like help building this kind of plan, then it's real simple. Please click the link in the description. You can schedule a free call with our team at Cornerstone Wealth Planning. This is what we do all day, every day. Our job is to help you connect these moving pieces so you can stop guessing and start making retirement spending decisions with more clarity, more confidence, and more enjoyment. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.